Shabbat Shalom and Lashana Tova. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Gail Duner, and I'm privileged to serve as president of Or Hadash. This Rosh Hashana message is traditionally a reflection of the past year and a peek into the year ahead. Well, what a year it has been. Unexpected, unprecedented, unplanned, unconventional, yet also uplifting and full of silver linings. Many years ago, my father-in-law went to see his cardiologist because he wasn't feeling well. After an angioplasty procedure, the doctor came out and told us that he had 95% blockage of his arteries. 95%. So we asked, how is he still alive? How is he getting enough blood pumping to his heart? And the doctor told us that he had grown new collateral vessels and arteries that bypassed the blocked areas to add needed blood flow. Incredibly, our bodies have this amazing ability to generate new pathways to the heart. In March, when everything shut down, all the normal routes and pathways in our lives, including to the shul, were blocked. With a lot of reimagining and openness to trying something new, and with the huge technology boost from Zoom, we created lots of new pathways and connections to our community. We began the year in search of our next rabbi to lead our Kehila Kedoshah, our sacred community, after Rabbis Annalie and Mario, who planted the seeds and nurtured us for the first 18 years, fulfilled their lifelong dream of making Aliyah. Our search committee, spearheaded by past presidents Gita Berman and Lynn Epstein, could not have made a better shidduch, a match, than with Rabbi Lauren Henderson and her husband Joel. In a few short months, she has seamlessly transitioned into our spiritual leader with grace, sharing her spirituality, her song, her intellect, and her enthusiasm. It takes an incredibly special person and a special community to be able to embrace each other at safe distance during a pandemic. I want to thank all of you for welcoming Rabbi Lauren and Joel with meals, with coffee in the courtyard, and for introducing yourselves over Zoom. And we're creating many more opportunities during Sukkot and over the next few months for all of you to spend time together if you haven't already. We hired our new Director of Lifelong Learning, Dr. Amy Robertson, whose talents shined through her Zoom interviews and teaching sessions. And what an incredible addition she's been to our leadership team. We had our first Zoom bat mitzvah with Lila Duke, whose family reimagined with us what a simcha could look like. The matriarchs of her family gave inspiring blessings before the Torah readings, and it was a phenomenal Lador Vador moment. Our most recent bar mitzvah was incredibly joyful, with participation from South Africa, Australia, and Israel. Darren Goodman played guitar as part of Kabbalat Shabbat. His entire family read Torah from their home, and over 200 members of the community welcomed him as an adult. We were even able to share his photo montage. Our very successful event of honor this summer, while delayed, showed us what reimagining can create. Renee Vidalevsky, Natasha Leibowitz, and Ronit Armoni, the event co-chairs, rerouted and produced a phenomenal online gala. We were thrilled that so many of you dressed up and joined us. And that event helped us understand some of the elements of what was possible for our virtual high holidays. The new cameras and other technology upgrades we've installed will enhance our in-sanctuary B'nai Mitzvahs and other programs. We've also worked creatively to maintain many of the normal rhythms of the shul, like Shabbat services, Sunday and Tuesday morning minyans, and Torah in the woods. We also opened up some brand new connections and pathways with things we haven't done before. Rabbi Lauren introduced us to the book, This is Real and You're Totally Unprepared, to help us on our spiritual journey this high holiday season. Many of you read the book we sent to each family on your own, and many of us joined in the book group to discuss and learn and share. I personally had never participated in a book group before, and I found it inspiring and thought-provoking. The Sunday afternoon series of song circles introduced us to some of the key prayers we'll be hearing throughout the high holidays, with beautiful new melodies interspersed with ageless traditional tunes. Dr. Amy has reimagined Machon Hadash, our school program for our kids, which began last week, and has introduced a vibrant virtual learning experience, which includes amazing electives like beginning ukulele, drumming the rhythms of Shabbat, and Minecraft, building Jerusalem. And 2 weeks ago, we hosted a very well-attended webinar for our 4th annual Tilly and Max Stein Family Lecture on the topic of American Jews in the 2020 election, which was a fascinating discussion moderated by our own Professor Ken Stein. I think you get the idea. Although the world turned upside down and made us make so many detours in our lives, these past 6 months, Or Hadash has been here, creating community without skipping a beat. Rather than being stymied or shut down by all the things we can't do, we've taken license to find new ways to approach our Jewish family, our spirituality, our learning, and our connections to each other. I especially want to give a shout out to our board, our staff, our committees, and the many volunteers who've been instrumental in finding ways to go over, under, and around the obstacles we've been faced with. All of the activities and meetings I've been a part of, almost all virtually, have given me the gift of meeting so many members of our shul who I didn't know that well. And I'm sure it comes as no surprise, but we have an incredibly thoughtful, impressive, compassionate, supportive, and fun membership. As a synagogue that wandered from home to home in our first decade plus, we especially understand that who we are is not defined by where we are. I know that our current situation does not replace the well-traveled and familiar pathways of our prior synagogue experience. We know that you'd rather be in the building. We know that you miss seeing each other and giving each other hugs. We know that you want to have Shabbat oneggs and share bagels and lox, tuna and egg salad, and good conversation. But until that time, I invite you to make at least one new pathway to connect to our community. You may not be a big fan of Zoom or saturated after a day of video calls, but until we have some of our traditional arteries back, I invite you to log into Friday night or Saturday morning services and to see the faces of our community chatting and davening together. You can have your video off if you're making Shabbat dinner or if you're in your pajamas. Unmute and wish everyone a Shabbat Shalom, or toast together on Saturday morning. Who says you can't have Kiddush Club during a pandemic? It's a really wonderful way to provide some continuity and create a much-needed spiritual space during these difficult times. Join a book club or one of our many learning opportunities. Rabbi Lauren and Dr. Amy have so many ideas to connect and build community in new ways. We're expanding our programming for our young adults. Did you know that their membership is complimentary? I want to thank everyone for being resilient, for being open to finding ways around the blockages, for being patient with the new technologies. Oh, and before I close, for the rest of the story, in case you were wondering what happened to my father-in-law, Al, he got a stent to open up the blockages, and he lived a great life for another 20 years. Bruce and I, and Alex and Emily, want to wish you and your families a happy, healthy, meaningful new year. May you continue to find new pathways and connections to the important things in your life. L'shana tova u'metuka.